Francis Mays, author of Under the Tuscan Sun, wrote, "My idea of heaven is to drive the gravel farm roads of Umbria and Tuscany very pleasantly lost." For those of you familiar with my channel, you know that I often tell quotes and stories of how life is short, and the opportunity to accomplish our life goals and dreams is rapidly fleeting. Well, today we are going to talk to my friend and neighbor Chris. He and his wife Jen truly embody the attitude of living life to the fullest and just going for it. They had a dream many years ago to buy a property in Italy. It was their goal, it was their mission, and now, here we are, they made it happen. Recently, Stephanie and I were able to go and visit Chris and Jen over in Italy, and I was able to sit down with Chris for a little interview about the property. So let's be transported to Tuscany. Doodaloo, doodaloo.
Thanks, Josh, for wanting to talk about this, because this has been a tremendous dream that we've thought about over the last, earnestly over the last 7 years. We've been coming to Italy for almost 20 now, and we just fell in love with the people. The countryside is beautiful, the food is amazing, the cultural sights and sounds are something I think everybody comes for. But for us, it was the people, and to be able to be amongst the people here full-time now has been absolutely a dream come true. And we feel we've got a pretty good idea of how life is here now. It's 7 months into it. Here in Tuscany, particularly in the region of Chianti, there are just so many stunning places to go to sample wine, to have a picnic, to have a nice lunch or dinner, to go for a hike, to go for a bike ride. There's literally, you could probably go all year and not have to repeat something you did the day before if you wanted to. There's that many wineries, there's that many things to do, so it's hard to stop a lunch at the traditional American hour and a half. We're typically at lunch for 2.5, 3 hours here, and I don't mean to sound gluttonous, it's just things slow down. You almost have to beg for your check when you're ready, which is another one of the beautiful things here. You never feel rushed. Everything just kind of slows down. I would say if you have a love of this country and you have the desire to do something like this, dedicate yourself to a plan to make it happen. Ours took the better part of 7 years from the time we made the statement we wanted this to happen to the time we closed the deal. It probably could have been much quicker. We had COVID in between. We could have settled for something different. I think we stuck with our original plan and found the property that worked for us. I think the first thing you have to have is an attraction. The second thing you have to have is the desire, and then you actually have to be dedicated to the mission, if you will. And our mission was to obtain property here.
So if you could just kind of mention about the property itself and an overview.
Well, you know, as I've said to you and anybody that engages me about the property, because I love talking about it, welcome to our property. The initial building of this property was almost 950 years ago. It started out as a farm. It's taken a couple forms since then. The property itself is stunning. We could see that right away. Here in Italy, it's interesting, when you buy, particularly in the country, you can't add volume, or it's very hard to add volume. So if your place is 3,000 square feet, it's going to stay 3,000 square feet. It's very hard to change things like what people see externally. If you're having some kind of Tuscan stone as a facade, which is something we have and we love anyway, you can't change it. We wouldn't want to change it. So there's some things that are very restrictive. You got to keep the outside looking at like it did hundreds of years ago. It's kind of the concept, if a time traveler came and they were someone that was around 950 years ago in this part of town, they'd still be able to recognize their home. You're going to see a lot of the local materials, which is what our place is produced out of. So talking about our place, we have about what would be the equivalent of 17 acres in the US. They do hectares here. We have about 4 acres of forest, so we have sycamores and oaks and whatnot. And on our property, we have about 11 acres where those olive trees are and where the property proper is, where our structures are. And talking about our structures, there's a central house. It has 3 large main rooms. It's 2-story. It has a cellar that we're trying to change some aspects of that. Main house, 2 full bathrooms upstairs, 3 big bedrooms upstairs, beautiful views from each one of those bedrooms. There was some work we had to do on all those rooms. 2 fireplaces. The one in the kitchen is unbelievable. It dates back to the origin of the house. We have another fireplace in the living room in the main house. Beautiful terrace off of the kitchen. We're currently changing some aspects of that we're allowed to do. There's a 450-year-old pizza oven on that terrace, which we're giving some love right now, and we're going to bring that back to life because we think that'll be fun for us and our guests to create pizzas. Then you go to what the family referred to as the external apartments. These were outbuildings for the original farm. Like I said, you cannot change the volume, but you can reimagine the space. So something that might have been used to hold animals, or perhaps hay, or perhaps farm equipment, is now livable quarters. So there's initially there were 4 external apartments. All of them have their own bathrooms, so they're kind of an in-suite type of a scenario. We've added aspects to the external parts of the property. One of the things I asked William when we were talking about buying the place was, is there anything you do differently? And remember, he came into the family about 10 years ago, and this property dates back to this family about 40 years. And William took me over to the parking area that we've currently kind of gussied up, if you will. Really, really happy the way that turned out. And he, parted some bushes and told me to tell me what I see. And what I saw was amazing. It was Montefiorale, which is a walled hilltop town about less than a mile from us. Supposedly the birthplace of Amerigo Vespucci, who was Columbus's navigator. And just a quaint town. But you couldn't see it from really anywhere on our property except the parking area. So we've submitted a permit to build a couple external terraces below our parking, where we'll be able to have, we think, between 65 and 70 people, end to end on the top terrace for meals, looking out at that beautiful town. And the terrace just below that, our hope is to have what they call locally as palio, excuse me, which is bocce ball. So we'll have a couple of functioning, beautiful terraces with canopies where we'll be able to have some nice dusk to midnight dinners, because there's no 2-hour dinners here.
I want to thank Chris for the interview, and also thanks to Chris and Jen for hosting Stephanie and me at their beautiful property in Italy. And I want to say, if you do have any follow-up questions as a viewer that you want me to ask Chris, go ahead and ask me in the comments below, and I can either make a new video, potentially asking more detailed questions about the purchasing process, what it was like to search for a property in Italy, that kind of thing. And also be sure to check out Chris and Jen's new YouTube channel called Sips of Italy that I will link below. They've already got several videos up that are great about the property, about Italy, cultural things that they've done, people they've met, they've interviewed, a wide variety, food they've been eating, that kind of thing. So really a cool channel already, Sips of Italy. And thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna leave you with a little montage from our visit, and that's it. We'll see you next time. Thanks.